The great Marie Kondo once said, "If it doesn't spark joy and bring happiness to your heart, then why keep it?" Well, I found a game that sparks a lot of joy. Look, we're going back to a simpler time in Japanese history. We're going back to the Edo period. Look, this was when merchants and craftsmen were selling their wares along the main street. They were selling fish, tobacco, rice, all of that good stuff. But unfortunately, back in that period, they weren't very good at firefighting. Look, the game I'm talking about is Iki. Now, before we get started, I want to get the bottom line up front. Look, I love this game. Look, I don't normally give that away straight at the start of the video, but look, if you don't stay right to the end, you're doing yourself a misservice. This game is brilliant. It's an absolute hidden gem. Look, I'm ranking this game up there with Coloma and Hippocrates. These are two sort of middleweight Euros that just don't get talked about. I absolutely adore all of these games. So look, stay tuned. Let's hear about Iki. Now, what is the goal of Iki? Look, put simply, you're going to be getting those characters, those merchants and craftsmen. You're going to be leveling them up, getting them more experience, and then eventually retiring. You'll be building buildings, purchasing goods, purchasing resources, and fighting a lot of fires. But the main premise is you're going to be collecting Iki. Iki are the points. That's how you're going to win the game. And put simply, Iki is the simple ideal of living a perfect civic lifestyle. God, I love Japanese culture. Now, let's look at how the game plays. Look, at its heart, it's a worker placement game, and you're going to be moving around 4 different districts. Now, on the 2-player side of the board, you're going to have 3 spots per district. On the 3 to 4 player side, you're going to have 4 spots per district. But look, I like to mix things up. When I play 3 players, I kind of like playing on the 2-player side. It makes it even tighter, even crunchier. But look, I'm just a bit of a nutcase like that, so look, stick to the rules. Let's discuss what a turn actually looks like. Firstly, it's played over 13 rounds, with the first step always being putting out your Ikizama meeple. This is going to be put into 1 to 5 spots there, and it's going to correlate to the main meeple and how far that main meeple can walk around that market center. Next up, you're going to gain money, or you're going to hire a character. So you're going to pay for that character, you put it out into the board, any one of those spots there, then put one of your workers on the bottom there. Now, putting it on the bottom rung is basically signifying it's an inexperienced worker, and eventually it's going to get more experience and then eventually retire. Then our last step is to move that main meeple, how many spots our Ikizama meeple is telling us to move, and then we're going to do business with that shop front. But it doesn't stop there. That shop front, we can do business with that, but we can also do business with one of the vendors within that shop front there. So there's going to be normally 1 to 2 spots there that you can work with, and that's going to give you an extra action, like a second action there. Now the catch is, it doesn't have to be your worker, it can be your opponent's worker. If you do that, you're actually going to make your opponent's worker more experienced, but you're going to gain the benefit of it. So let's chat about these shop fronts. First up, the sandal shop lets us purchase sandals, which helps us move further around the market center. Next up, the fish shop. You can purchase 1 fish every season, and that's going to give us endgame scoring. It's going to be the same with the tobacco shop. You're going to get tobaccos and pipes. These are going to give you bonuses plus points at the end of the game. The rice shop. Now this is important because you need to feed your people. Every worker you have out on the table needs to be fed at the end of the season, so you're going to need to collect some rice. The pawn shop. This is where we're going to trade some of our goods for some money, and money is tight, so we definitely need some of that. The exchange shop. So we're going to exchange some money for some gold, and we need gold for why? Because we need it for the construction shop, because when we purchase buildings, we normally need some wood and normally some gold to purchase us some buildings, and buildings are going to be end game scoring objectives. Now, the last one I haven't chatted about is the fire tower. The fire tower is the most unique shop front there, and you're not purchasing fire. Look, you're going there to help build up your fire rating, because fire is a massive part in Iki. So let's chat about this elephant in the room, the old fire. Look, back in the day, back in Nihonbashi, there must be a lot of fires, because this is a main storyline in this game. 3 times every game, a fire is going to break out in one of the 4 sectors. You're not going to know which sector is going to break loose, and if your character cards are there, they're in danger of losing their shop fronts. So you go to the fire tower to help build up your firefighting experience, and in that way, you can fight off those fires. The other benefit is, if you're further up the firefighting track, you're going to go first in the next round with putting out your Ikizama meeple. We've pretty much touched on everything, but the last thing I want to talk about is payday. Any of your character cards out on the board and any of your retired characters on your playboard are going to give you resources at the end of every season. Now these resources could be food, they could be points, they could be money, there could be a whole range of things. The one thing I will say is you need this. This game is tight. So feeding your people is tough. So if you have some workers out on the board that give you rice, that rice might be enough to be able to help feed all of your characters so you don't lose them. This is a real fine balancing act, this game, and this is what makes this game so goddamn beautiful. Now let's discuss theme, art, components, mechanics, and replayability. Firstly, the theme. Look, you're walking around old school Japan here. It's a beautiful theme. You're going to visiting different merchants, different sellers, visiting their stores. It just felt so lovely being back in that era. The one thing that felt a little bit off kilter was that fire. The fact that there's 3 fires happening in the same marketplace every year. I think there might be an arsonist problem in this place. I don't know. Has anyone questioned that? Now art. Straight up, this art is beautiful. This game is a reprint of a game from 7 years ago, and the art in that was, look, it was pretty butt ugly. Let's not beat around the bush. I absolutely hated that art. This is about 10 million times better. It looks gorgeous on the table. The character cards, all different, all unique. They all sort of tell a story, be it a geisha, be it an egg peddler, be it some sort of craftsman. Look, they all so unique, and the artwork is gorgeous. Components are also nice. That big main meeple on the center of the board is called an oil cutter, and that just looks so great. It's about that big. It looks amazing on the table. All of the meeples there are screen printed and look really good. On top of that, the resources. Look, unfortunately the rice is just like these little cylinders, these little beige cylinders. They're a bit meh, but overarching, look, really happy with all the components. Mechanics wise, the main thing I want to discuss is those character cards. Leveling them up, building up their experience, building them right up until they retire, but still getting the benefits out of them every season. It's a really nice touch to the game. The main thing in this game is balancing. I love a good crunchy Euro where there are so many decisions, but you can't do everything. Iki is 100% in that mold. You need to really balance. You're going to need that rice. You're going to need that firefighting. You want to maybe get some buildings. You want to collect some fish because, you want to get a fish every season. You want to get tobacco and pouches. There is so many things you need to do, yet you only have 3 turns every season to get it done. It is such a tight, crunchy game, and this is why this is so much in my wheelhouse. Lastly, replayability. Look, I just don't think there's enough replayability in this game that you're going to bring it out week in, week out. Look, I would love to see this game have some few mini modules added in, or maybe an expansion, something just to add a bit more variety to each game. The other way it's going to get less replayability is because it's pretty much a gamer's game. This isn't a family game. This isn't a game I would introduce to gateway gamers. So it's a game I would only play with more experienced players. So for that reason, maybe the replayability is a bit low on this game. Let's summarize all this together. I giggled like a little Japanese schoolgirl throughout because I was having fun. I mentioned right at the start Marie Kondo. This game sparks joy in me. I had so much fun playing this at 2 players, at 3 players. Actually, let's talk about it. At 2 players, this game is a ripper of a game. I really like it at 2 players. But anyway, it plays well at 3, plays well at 4. I only just wish it had a solo mode that would have really ticked every box, but alas, it does not. But this game is a keeper. This game is in my top 10 games of 2022. That is how much I love it. So that pretty much summarizes how I feel about this game. Sparks joy, makes me giggle like a Japanese schoolgirl. Just look, it is straight up fun. It is straight up a game that you need in your collection. Now, if you enjoyed what I do here, please give me a little cheeky little subscription. Just one little, just hit that subscription button. Look, I would love any subscription, I would love any comment. I just appreciate you watching my content. It's just amazing. Thanks for your support. Anyway, that's it from me. I'm Hoax. This is Board Game Bang. Until next time, laters.